low volume and the progressive intensity training. It may be tempting to follow a training program used by an experienced athlete, but the overtraining is then the most common result of all people at all levels. It is sure beginners are making progress no matter what they do, if they train consistently. They demonstrate about twice the improvement in half the time when compared with stronger experienced trainees. Studies about this were made already in early 80s. But for the advanced athletes, the ability to recuperate is worse because of the high intensity trainings. So more advanced individuals must not necessarily work out harder, but they must work out smarter. Progress occurs during recovery or between the workouts. So if the body has not fully recovered between workouts, the overtraining must occur sooner or later. Current popular weight training dogma is based on training practices of athletes from the past era. And also, the training information is passed down from generation to generation. High school coaches often use programs from college coaches who mimic programs followed by professional athletes. Not only can elite athletes usually recover from greater volumes and intensities of workout, but they may often use ergogenic aids to recuperate. Many coaches, athletes, and other individuals incorporate program philosophies popularized in the 60s, 70s, or 80s. These programs worked during the era where anabolic steroids were already commonly used by many advanced athletes. Since then, anabolic steroids have been deemed illicit. Without these ergogenic aids, the programs of the past often lead to physical and psychological overtraining. Training naturally is quite different than training synthetically. The ACSM weight training guidelines state more than one set may elicit slightly greater strength gains, but additional improvements is relatively small, which was proved already by the studies in the years 1995. Studies demonstrating marginal improvements in strength with more sets typically use one exercise per muscle. Split programs performed by experienced athletes typically incorporate two or more exercises per muscle group. Fleck and Kramer's review of the training literature suggests the optimal number of total sets between 2 and 5 sets. Fleck and Kramer already in 1997. A second set seems understandable since a warm-up set may allow greater intensity for the following workout set, which was stated already by Sherlock and Prentice in 1985. Many scientific studies demonstrate one set is almost as effective as multiple sets, this both in strength and muscle hypertrophy. This was stated already by Starkey and Pollock in the year 1996. These studies have been criticized for using untrained subjects during the tests. The studies effected during the years 2000 compared the effects of one set towards 3 sets in experienced recreational bodybuilders. Both groups significantly improved muscular fitness and body composition during the 13-week study. It's interesting that no significant differences were found between groups in any of the tests. This included muscular strength, muscular endurance, and body compositions. A few highly appreciated fitness authorities and professional bodybuilders have been for high intensity but very low volume training. The author Jones, the founder of Nautilus and MedX weight training equipments, was one of the early pioneers of single set training. In 1980, Casey Viator, the youngest Mr. America and Mr. Olympia winner, as well as Mike Mentzer, Mr. Universe and Mr. Olympia winner, promoted the high-intensity, low-volume training. More recently, Dorian Yates, several-time Mr. Olympia, reportedly performed only a one warm-up set and one or occasionally two workout sets throughout his off-season training. There are three weight training components: intensity, duration, and frequency. Generally, we call them IDF factors. If one component is decreased, increasing one or both of the other components may make up for this loss. For example, by training each muscle group every 4 days instead of every 3 days, decreased frequency, the number of exercises or sets may be increased. Increased duration, or the amount of weight may be increased. Increased intensity. Intensity is the least forgiving of the three components. If intensity is decreased for a time, strength and muscle mass gains will likely deteriorate. Increasing frequency or duration cannot make up for a decrease of intensity. Furthermore, intensity will be unintentionally decreased if duration is too great. Each additional set or exercise performed in a workout decreases the amount of weight that can be used. If someone is aware there's several sets and many exercises to perform, he will hold back automatically and not put full effort early in the workout. By the time somebody has completed the first part of the workout, he is unable to put full intensity in the remainder of the workout because of fatigue of all the exercises and sets already performed before. Since muscular endurance is not a limiting factor with a low volume program, greater weight or greater intensity or both can be used. A progressive intensity program seems to be the key factor in strength development and muscle building. Weight training intensity also seems to be the key component for fat loss, which is partly a myth. Not only can aerobic activity utilize calories for several hours after the training, but restoration of muscle mass increases calories expended at any activity level, even during the rest. These common goals can be obtained by doing the most within the least number of sets and exercises. Specifically, this involves performing as many repetitions as possible within the repetition range of the workout set. By performing an additional set 50% to 100% more sets. Only 0 to 5% more progress will be observed. The time saved with an abbreviation weight training program can often be used more wisely elsewhere in a program. More aerobic should be performed if fat loss, toning, or cardiovascular conditioning is the goal. Duration is a more important component with aerobics. Alternatively, more sport-specific training can be performed if improvement of athletic ability is the goal. In addition, more rest can be taken between sets if strength is a goal. Finally, more time can be spent recuperating after workouts, decreasing the stagnant of injuries effects of overtraining. There is less need to divide the body into as many groups when designing a split program. Each muscle group can be worked with greater frequency, more than just once a week, as many high-volume programs force you to perform. In addition, more rest days can be implemented for greater recovery of your body, as in the case of a 2-day split workout performed 4 days per week. Those who are used to a program implementing multiple sets and or many exercises are usually skeptical about performing so few sets. Veterans of the old schools may not feel confident they will experience gains with less sets and exercises. They have been introduced to a very traditional training. Some may even react violently at the propositions of incorporating such a shorter method of training. They may defend their methods of higher volumes trainings throughout the years. If an individual is accustomed to a high volume program, it may be very difficult psychologically to perform only one warm-up set and one workout set. It may take months until the veteran bodybuilder is used to the low volume, progressively intense training. The individual who is used to performing multiple sets and many exercises for each muscle group is initially unable to perform a workout set at a greater intensity. They hold automatically back since they are used to perform many exercises, many sets during a large period of time. It may require really months to be accustomed with the new, shorter training. Until such people are really able to generate more intensity in their workouts, many may feel they are not achieving a productive workout based on the initial lack of fatigue. For those who are used to a high volume program, an intermediate volume program prescription may be suggested. This involves 2 workout sets performed after a warm-up set. The workout weight should be increased 5 to 10% if 12 reps or the upper repetition range is performed. The 2 workout sets may be performed with the same weight, so-called straight sets, or the second workout set may be 5% greater than the resistance used on the first workout set, independently of the progressing weight. The schedule might be warm-up set, A, 50% of workout weight, 12 to 15 reps. Then workout set 1, recorded weight 8 to 12 reps. If 12 reps increase workout weight 5 to 10% your next workout. Workout set 2, recorded weight plus 5%. Even in the case of training for a sport or activity that requires a degree of muscular endurance, it may be advisable to train for strength and general condition during the whole season. Muscular strength gains are more lasting than the endurance gains. Endurance is the first to diminish during the training periods. It may seem that strength deteriorates rapidly, but strength retention can be observed over time in many studies. Special periods of high volume training can be used in combination with periods of low volume training. It depends what type of physical condition you would like to obtain. A cycle of training may last weeks or may be growing progressively longer each successive cycle. Muscular endurance is essentially transferred to muscular strength during such a cycle. Unfortunately, endurance is rarely transferred to strength with popular programs. Multiple workout sets are dogmatically performed with no real understanding of why they are being done. Incidentally, this transfer of muscular endurance to strength even occurs with single set training by progressively performing more repetitions until an upper range is reached. Weight can then be increased with a subsequent decrease in reps. All such variations are individual and can be applied differently from person to person. But it is clear that performing the few sets and exercises necessary to reach your objectives will facilitate higher workout intensities and can reduce the occurrence of overtraining and injuries. When utilizing high volume workouts for certain sport with specific objectives, balance always high volume periods with low volume periods of training. Train well and do not overtrain too much over a longer period of time. Thank you for listening.